Hey guys, Andrew here, and today we are back with another video. I have the OBS here. I teased it in a couple other videos, but it finally happened. CP Addict was kind enough to send me a set of their fog light brackets to review, so I paired those up with a set of Baja Designs lights for the ultimate lighting package on the front of this OBS truck. Mind you, this is no drilling, no cutting, no nothing. So I'm gonna take you guys through this process from start to finish. Everything from making the switch panel, to running the wires, to what lights I picked, to mounting the brackets, everything. I wanna show you guys exactly how I did this on this truck. So let's get into this. So what you will need two sets of lights. You will need 4 lights total, whatever brand you want to go with. I went with Baja Designs. I chose their Squadron Pro with the driving combo light and their Squadron SAE. Now the SAE is going to be a street legal fog light, so I can use that at any point in time on the road and not blind oncoming traffic. They're really, actually probably a pretty bright light for what you're getting, but they are fully street legal because of the beam pattern. The Squadron Pros are not street legal. Those are about 5,000 lumens each, which is really impressive for a small 4 LED pod. So that's gonna be 10,000 lumens from those. And those are going to be my nighttime driving lights, right? When I'm out in the middle of nowhere, when I need as much light as I can possibly get, those are the lights that I'm gonna be using. So those 2 lights are gonna be the basis of this. Now I want those wired separately. So I'm going to have a switch to control each set of lights. So one switch for the SAE, one switch for the Squadron Pro. So keep in mind, that's how I'm gonna be setting those up in the cab of the truck. Now for the brackets, normally these CP Addict brackets are super easy to put on any truck. They have 2 bolts that locate off of factory holes that are already in the bumper of your truck, and then 2 holes that have a basically, up and down adjustment position, so you can mount your LED pods. Now, one catch is with the Baja Designs lights, I had to modify the way the light mounted. These lights are designed to mount from either the top or the bottom, but not from a rear mounting position. So I actually had to use different hardware and a spacer. Now the spacer I used was just a random plastic spacer I had laying around in the garage. I got a bunch of bike parts because I'm into mountain biking, so I happened to use those. So that let me mount with a longer bolt the light onto the CP Addict fog light bracket. To start out with, the way that I like to start with any wiring project once I figured out the lights and how I was gonna get those in the brackets is the wiring. So I like to lay out everything, figure out how I'm gonna route the wires so that they're least visible, but still easy to access if I need to make any repairs or changes. So in this case, I was running 2 separate harnesses and I located a hole in the firewall. I found that that's the easiest hole. That little grommet's just ready to go. You can pass everything in that way. After that, I took the wires and routed them on the outer rim of the engine bay and connected them to the driver's side battery for power. Now, I used wire loom to kind of disguise all of the wires. It helps clean everything up. You don't have, wire harnesses going all over your engine bay. Everything is nice and neatly tucked in that wire loom. In the cab of the truck, I really didn't want to have a switch that was drilled into the factory dash in this truck. It is a perfectly clean, original factory dash, so I wanted to maintain that if possible. So I came up with a clever little switch bracket, like housing basically, that I'm gonna be using. Now I made that switch mount out of 22 gauge sheet metal. It was a little bit of a project. I started with a template, kind of cut things out, figured out how I wanted it, and kind of massaged it from there until I got to the point where I was happy with it. It's basically a small sheet metal box that uses the bolt hole that holds on the lower part of the dash, so it's already an existing bolt. I pulled that out and the little tab attaches there. So it's actually right next to my trailer brake controller, right next to the 4-wheel drive lever, so it's really easy to access, but it cleanly mounts these switches in a way that doesn't have any permanent holes. So this made use of an existing bolt, an existing flat area on the dash, and I was able to mount that switch in a place that's really easy to access, but still doesn't have any holes. So I highly recommend making something like this for your truck if you have one of these OBS trucks instead of just drilling into your dash. I always like to keep original stuff as original as possible. Now, on the front of the truck for mounting these lights, it is as easy as it gets. You're going to pre-build the light brackets assemblies on your workbench. So I pre-built them, had everything kind of laid out. I ended up having to put the lights slightly located down on the vertical holes. And then you're gonna climb under the truck, place the brackets on the bottom of the truck, and basically just put in the top and the bottom bolt. They have these awesome little backing tabs that go in there so the bolts have something to thread into. It's a really clever and well-designed system. So kudos to CP Addict for making a really high quality product. And it's all US made. So what's actually cool about this is my lights are US made, the Baja Designs lights, and the brackets are US made. So I got a full US made lighting setup on the front of this truck. All right, so let's go take this truck out at night. I really want to see what it looks like. I'm very curious. The factory lights on these trucks suck, as many of you know if you own one of these trucks. So I was really looking for some extra light at night. Let's see what we did. So right out of the gate, I can already tell a huge improvement in lighting. Just the SAEs alone, it's really hard to capture on camera, but they have a lot more fill light. So they have a lot more light to the sides. They light up the lane markers, the indicators, they light up signs, everything that you need for fill, basically on the sides of your truck. They do a much better job than the very focused beam pattern that is from the factory lights. Now, flipping on the Squadron Pros, it is like night and day. For how small they are, I can't believe how much light those things put out. It is so impressive. And I actually have another video on my channel comparing Baja Design's lights to the import lights. If you are curious in that, click in the description or in the comments or right here. I will have that video linked, but I basically did a head-to-head comparing imported lights with the Baja Design's lights. But I am blown away by how much brighter these are, how easy they were to put on. These CP attic brackets are awesome. I highly recommend them if you are trying to put more lighting on your truck. It is a really easy way to do it and keep everything totally original and factory. I actually kind of like the look of the fluted style lenses on the factory headlights. I didn't want to mess with the factory lights, but I wanted more light at night. So this was a great way to kind of give the truck a little more of an aggressive look and get better lighting at night. Again, this is an awesome option. Everything is fully bolt-on and the lighting output is really impressive. Probably the one change I would make to the CP attic brackets is I wish that they had an elongated hole where they mount to the bumper so that you could move them left to right. Everyone's bumpers are a little bit different, so on some the lights are perfectly centered. On mine, they happen to be shifted a little bit to one side. Not a huge deal, but that would be like the only change I would make. Other than that, the brackets are really high quality, the powder coating was really high quality, and the inclusion of the tabs in the back so that the nuts or bolts that somebody to thread into, the hardware itself, everything was really high quality and well thought out, and everything fit really well. So this is a super easy way to add usable light to the front of your truck and light that you couldn't get out of, a normal headlight setup. So if you were curious in doing this to your truck, I have links to everything. I'll put them in the comments and the description for the brackets and the lights that I used. Hopefully everything I showed pretty much gets you guys through this install and shows you guys how to do it on your personal truck. And yeah, I highly recommend it. And this has been an awesome change in this truck. I'm so much happier driving this at night. So stay tuned. I got a bunch more videos coming. And until then, see you guys in the next video.